Hey everyone, as you probably already heard, on June 26, Disney shared tons of new details and information about the Disney Adventure. This is the ship that Disney acquired that was formerly known as the Global Dream and which sets sail next year, 2025, out of Singapore. Not only has Disney never acquired a pre existing ship before, but the adventure is massive. For comparison, the Disney Wish, which is currently Disney Cruise Line's biggest ship, has a capacity of 4,000 guests, while the Adventure has a capacity of 6,700. Huge difference. And so, Disney Cruise Line has way more spaces to fill and within a layout that already existed and that they did not design. So obviously Disney has to treat this ship differently than the rest of their developing fleet, and I want to get into that while also offering a few theories. So in previewing the adventure, Disney Cruise Line released this map. And it's similar to the map they used for the Disney Treasure preview, but it differs in that it's divided into 7 themed areas, each with their own shopping, dining, entertainment, and so on. My theory is that Disney is going to apply the theme park model to the Disney Adventure and may even market it as its first theme park at sea, complete with rides. And no, I'm not talking about the Aquamouse on the Wish as an attraction at sea. I'm talking actual rides, and I think Disney may have alluded to that in their latest press release. So let's dive into all of this, going land by land or area by area, beginning with the Disney Adventures Disney Imagination Garden. Disney describes Imagination Garden as a gathering space that will be guests' gateway to their journey. And in theme park speak, to me, that suggests this is the ship's theme park hub. And if Imagination Garden's location on this map is to be believed, I'm thinking that part of this land will be the ship's atrium, which is where guests will board, and then it will extend all the way to the top deck. And the reason I'm thinking this is because the Global Dream had a green space on the top deck, and Disney described Imagination Garden as being an enchanted valley and a charming garden that's going to offer an open air performance venue. Also, in this map concept, we see that Sorcerer Mickey is the icon, which does this mean Sorcerer Mickey will be the adventure signature statue? I think it's a possibility. And we're also seeing topiaries and hedgework. And in discussing this entire ship, I think it's likely that Disney will be drawing on pre-existing theme park and cruise line experiences for the adventure. And this art suggests to me that we could be getting a hedge maze aesthetic, kind of like what we see at the international parks, but in the same format as the open air gardens and central parks that we have on other cruise ships with this size of a ship. Finally, I want to note that Disney specifically mentioned Moana and Mowgli from the Jungle Book when talking about this land, this area, and it's hard to tell, but there's a certain Disney castle in the storybook that I'm thinking may be Beauty and the Beast. The next area, or aka Theme Park Land at Sea as I'm calling it, is the Disney Discovery Reef. Disney claims guests can shop and dine in this corner of the ship and that it will be ever changing. Just what that means, I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of water effect or projection tech at play that will change with the time of day or with which characters are featured. Not really sure, but while this artwork spotlights Finding Nemo, Disney also noted that The Little Mermaid, Lilo and Stitch, and Luca will have a presence here. And if Disney draws anything from what they've already done for Discovery Reef, I would love to see a mermaid lagoon, just like what's offered at Tokyo Disney Sea. But since rides or attractions aren't mentioned in this description, I don't think I'll get my wish, but I do think we're going to get a Luca-inspired restaurant with some Italian fare. And while Disney did not drop this IP specifically, they did mention that this area will evoke nautical Disney stories. And since a Disney Treasure is getting a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea lounge later this year, maybe something similar might be in store for the Adventures Discovery Reef. Moving on, the next area is San Francisco Street based on Big Hero 6. And Disney describes this whole area as a family entertainment space. It's going to have high energy, it's going to have the atmosphere of a vibrant street market, and it's going to be home to interactive games, activities, shops, cinemas, and more. So I'm thinking this is going to occupy a pretty large section of the ship. Also, a big Hero 6 theme makes perfect sense as it can easily complement the Asian inspired areas the Global Dream already had in the works. And I'm wondering if this is where the Disney Cruise Line trivia and game shows are going to be offered. I'm sure we're also getting arcade here. And here's another theory for you. I'm wondering if this space will somewhat be inspired by what Disney Imagineering had planned for the now scrapped Epcot Play Pavilion. Again, just a thought. But since Disneyland just opened their own San Francisco Square at Disney California Adventure last year, I think we could see some recycled ideas here on the adventure, especially in terms of that street market. Now, the area I'm most looking forward to has to be Wayfinder Bay. Disney describes this as an open-air oasis in a sophisticated yet casual poolside retreat reflecting Pacific Island culture and Moana. It's also supposed to offer the most stunning views of the sea and sky aboard the adventure. Now, I know the map shows this land at the bottom of the ship, but from this description, clearly it won't be. I think the concept art you're seeing here from the Global Dream is what Disney is using to turn into Wayfinder Bay. And if Disney keeps the Global Dream's Wave Rider, I think this will be part of Wayfinder Bay as well, because thematically, a Moana Wave Rider just makes sense. We could also see some of those glass atriums that are really popular on major cruise ships now. This could also be part of Wayfinder Bay. It's also worth noting that Disney is all about Moana these days due to Moana 2, the live action Moana, a Moana show and cafe coming to the Disney Treasure in December, also the Polynesian Resort's DVC Island Tower, which has Moana theme. So there is a lot for Imagineering to draw from in terms of a Polynesian aesthetic and some classy Moana theming. Another land or area on the Disney Adventure is called Town Square. This is supposed to be a celebration of Disney royals and a blend of a magical land and a fantastical forest. Disney says you will find shops, lounges, cafes, restaurants, and entertainment venues here. So I'm thinking we're talking about another large part of the ship. Disney also noted there will be nods to Tangled, Cinderella, Frozen, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and The Princess and the Frog. Now, it is worth pointing out that apart from Snow White, Disney already has spaces and offerings themed after all of these Disney royals aboard other Disney Cruise Line ships, such as Arendelle on the Disney Wish and Tiana's Place on the Disney Wonder. And Disney could just replicate all of those for the adventure. And since the art spotlights Snow White, I think this is an indication we're getting a Snow White restaurant or a stage show. As for overall design and atmosphere, I'm thinking the space will have a Fantasyland Village meets Arendelle, such as like the newly opened frozen lands at the international parks kind of feel, kind of design. And I would love to see some Fantasy Springs inspo here as well. Lastly, another theory of mine is that one of the ship's rides or attractions could be offered here, but more on that in a second. So I'm really excited about this next space, and it is Marvel Landing. This is a whole area dedicated to the MCU, which Disney says will be for all ages, and will offer, and I quote, an Avengers-level adventure with all new attractions, I'm going to circle back on that here in a few minutes, and experiences that showcase imaginative representations of favorite superheroes. Just what imaginative representations of Marvel heroes means, I don't really know, but an entire space focused on Marvel sounds to me like a mini Avengers Campus, which I'm all about. I actually like Avengers Campus over Galaxy's Edge. Might be a hot take, but there it is. But while Disney claims all new attractions and experiences for this Marvel landing, I'm seeing some familiar iconography here. For instance, the Pym particle disc is what we've already seen on concept art to represent Avengers Quantum Encounter, which is the Marvel restaurant on the Wish, which is also coming to the Treasure. And that show already on the Wish features Stark Tower, which is also featured here. Also, the Guardians of the Galaxy Novacore Star Blaster may be pointing towards the new Guardians of the Galaxy show coming to the Disney Treasures Avengers Quantum Encounter for its second show night. So, the only 100% new offering I'm seeing here is the Avengers compound, which is positioned over one of the funnels. And if this is similar to what we saw with the Disney Treasure Cruise ship concept art, I'm thinking we're going to get an Avengers compound funnel suite, which is cooler, in my opinion, than the Epcot one we're getting on the Treasure. Plus, it's something that is definitely new. I do truly hope we'll get more in Marvel Landing besides repeats of Avengers Quantum Encounter, even though I love that show, because a New York or Stark Tower lounge would be amazing. So would a Guardians of the Galaxy restaurant, or also a lounge featuring awesome mixed music. There's a lot of possibilities with this space, and I really hope Disney uses them to the max. The seventh and final area aboard the Disney Adventure is Toy Story Place, which Disney says will include an interactive playland with themed food venues, water play areas, and where Toy Story movies and shorts will be represented. Honestly, this is something we've already seen on Disney Cruise Line ships, including the Wish, which has the Toy Story Splash Zone and references Toy Story shorts like Partysaurus Rex. And it also sounds like themed food venues could be the upper deck food counters, which are typical on Disney Cruise Line ships, like Pete's Boiler Bites, Flo's Cafe, and Mickey and Friends Festival of Foods. But what this artwork shows is that those counters could be cardboard boxes like you see in Andy's room. But here's something different that this could offer. And just behind the word place in the artwork, you may notice a Pizza Planet sign. Hollywood Studios at Disney World used to offer a Pizza Planet restaurant, but it was really more of a label than a realized vision. Maybe the Disney Adventure will finally offer fans a full-fledged Pizza Planet pizzeria with a themed arcade. Only time will tell. All right, so as I've been teasing all along, let's talk about rides and why I think the Adventure may be a theme park at sea. So in revealing the new info about the Disney Adventure, Disney alluded to attractions, and that is Disney speak for rides and shows. And while sure, Disney's use of the term attractions could have been alluding to shows or even slides and water coasters, but Disney mentioned the Adventure's attractions, apart from fun in the sun and special entertainment. To me, that signals a distinction, and it also signals we could be getting rides on board. And again, in discussing Marvel Landing, Disney used the following quote: "All new attractions and experiences." Again, keeping the two distinct and separate. And then last bit of evidence is that the Global Dream was built with an amusement park on board in mind. Now, since this is a ship, of course, rides and ride choice will be limited, but here are a few ideas for what we could be getting, beginning with a flat level spinner ride, much like the Teacups. It's a Disney Parks classic and could be perfect for the fairy tale inspired town square, and that nod to Tangled and Rapunzel's tower in the art makes me wonder if Disneyland Paris's new Tangled spinner could work here and also utilize those floating lanterns. Obviously, a carousel is another given and could be easily designed to reflect almost any themed land on board. And also the Sky Coaster, which is what Carnival Cruise Line offers right now, and which the Global Dream was originally designed to include. Also, since Marvel Landing specifically mentioned attractions, I think a simulator similar to Star Tours could work here, very much like the Iron Man experience at Hong Kong Disneyland. Maybe that's why Iron Man is in this artwork, I don't know. And I may be swinging for the fences here, but I don't think an Omniver Dark ride is outside the realm of possibility. Now, lastly, and this is a small detail, but I want to point out the tile border surrounding the Disney Adventure map, and which includes little hidden Mickeys. Disney Cruise Line fans should not forget that this ship is designed to depart from Singapore and appeal to an Asian audience, and I fully expect some cultural representation on board. Along those lines, I would not be shocked if Duffy and Friends, which are huge at the Asian Disney parks, wouldn't have some sort of presence aboard the adventure. I would absolutely watch this space for some sort of update or announcement about that. But overall, given the 7 areas or lands layout of the ship and the adventure's allusion to attractions or rides, I think this ship is going to be Disney's first attempt at blending theme parks with a ship, and it may be marketed as the theme park at sea, very similar to Disney's vision for an SS Disney back in the day. I would 100% expect more info about this at August's D23 Expo, but in the meantime, if you're looking forward to learning more about the Disney Adventure, more about Disney Cruise Line, the latest from the Disney parks, and much more, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing. I have a ton of content on the way and a few Disney experiences of my own to share. But regardless, I so appreciate you taking the time to watch and to listen, and I hope you have a magical day.